Yo guys, so today's topic has been highly requested by some of you, and I'll be doing a post-launch analysis for Emerald of Katong. So I know some of you has been almost waiting for 1 week for me to create this video. It's like waiting for a lecture at the lecture recording at school, right? Okay, so anyways, with Emerald of Katong being 99% sold on day one, does it mean that everyone managed to get a good deal? So today I'll also be doing a deep analysis on who are the biggest winners and maybe the losers in this particular booking day for Emerald of Katong. And as you guys know, my videos take a lot of time and effort to compile. So if you guys found value through my video, please drop me a like and subscribe. Alright? Thanks. Okay, so right now we'll touch on Emerald of Katong's booking day itself. So I think many of you has already seen this newspaper article. Emerald of Katong, hitting 99% sales at the launch and averaging between 2621 PSF. So I think this is a very important question you need to ask yourself first. Okay, did you get in on a good price, and what's considered good? And did you make a bad decision due to FOMO and all that? So I just want to share with you a few of the messages I've been getting from some of you viewers. I'm actually a little bit concerned is that after you already make your purchase, the fact that you still a little bit unsure of whether you made a good purchase or is it too high, because you watch a YouTube video of an agent saying, oh wow, Emerald of Katong very good lah, etc. Then after that, after the launch, there's also agents been saying, oh no, have you been FOMO? Have you been overpaying? Then if today, you tell me you are affected easily by all these videos just on YouTube, then I would say you haven't done enough research and homework for yourself to make an informed decision. Because today my clients, those that went with me for Emerald of Katong, later I'll be sharing that as well. They already know what is the game plan and what is the walkaway price, what is a good buy. So I think if you have all these frameworks in mind, you already know how to actually approach the new launch and don't feel FOMO on the day itself. And please, if those people are a little bit on the fence after you bought Emerald of Katong and you watch my video, please don't, because of me, you forfeit your 1.25%. So I think in the end, what I'm doing here is just a post-launch analysis. I could be wrong, I could be right, but I'm just using my analysis to just see what determines a good buy and what determines a not so good buy. That's all. Yep. So please don't make a rash decision to go and forfeit your 1.25%. Okay, so right now I'll be touching on the VVIP booking. So if those of you have already watched my previous video, you already know that your queue number, even if it's good, very likely we'll be experiencing quite a number of units being snapped up. So hopefully if you watch my video, the previous one, you are mentally prepared even if you get a good queue number for EOK lah. So now I'll just be sharing with you some of the interesting things that the developer did, that was, I would say, out of the norm lah. Yeah, and it's to really protect the ballot queue people. Okay, so over here, we will look at how the developer actually took steps to protect the ballot queue people lah. Okay, so you can see, this one was the 3629 checks, total checks lah for Emerald of Katong. Then priority checks, from VIP, multiple purchasing agents, we are looking at a total of 592. So if you remember that day, my previous video, I talked about it. If today is 592, very likely, even if you are queue number 1 in the ballot queue, you are already 593 over here. So I think this one is very important for you guys to know exactly what you are going to expect for the booking day itself. Then over here, we have the latest message. This is before the VVIP purchase. So the developer very nice, seemed very nice really. They don't have to do this, but they actually did this. Then they do this agent purchase, so for agents, we only can buy limited floors. So you see block 51, 53, 55 and 57, Agents cannot buy level 1 to 9. Means they must buy 10th floor onwards. So this will definitely already protect at least 50% of the supply, provided the VVIP bulk purchase people never buy it yet. Okay. And then the second block, 59 and 63, agents cannot buy level 1 to level 8. So I think this is a really good move by the developer, because I think, to be honest, if you think from the developer's point of view, they have no need to do this one, because actually even if agent purchase or the ballot queue people purchase, either way the developer just want the unit to be sold. They don't really care who buys on, to be honest. So I think this move is really quite good by the developer. I think at the same time, right? So at the same time, I think the developer, what they were trying to do in the like more hidden terms, right, is that I think they didn't want Emerald of Katong to become like an agent, property agent town. Because if you see so many agents started to buy Emerald of Katong, right? Imagine if majority of them are actually not for own stay and investors. What will happen in the resale market? A lot of people will be trying to flip the property. But of course, that's not saying that it's not good for the property. Probably it will be good because there will be a lot of transaction volume. But if that's the case, then it might not be very genuine buyers. I mean, for own stay in that sense, they are still genuine buyers, but they are not really genuine own stay. So maybe the developer behind the scenes was just trying to limit the agent's purchase, but at the same time, they still at least release half the blocks to them. Okay, so now we'll analyze what is going on the VVIP day itself. So right now, look at what happened at 6:30 p.m. for the VVIP day itself. Okay, so VVIP, right, you see 21% sold, 180 units sold. So out of 846, right, we still have about 600 plus units remaining. So I think what was interesting about the VVIP day itself, actually a lot of the units sold, right, was inwards facing. So you see, like you say, 2+ study, 50 units sold, 19 units sold, 16, 32, 19, 20, 5, 13, and 2. So what was really surprising for me when I was monitoring the data, right, actually a lot of the units being sold for the VVIP, even at the early part, right, are actually all pool facing one, inward facing. So even if they have the higher premium for the per square feet, right, people are willing to pay for it. So this was quite surprising to me because I thought usually, like based on Norwood Grand, Trump Park, all these actually the units went out by in terms of PSF and quantum. So Emerald of Katong was totally opposite. Emerald of Katong, right, people were willing to pay the higher price for better facing. So I think this is something very strong in the sense people are buying for own stay. You can tell from the multiple purchase and the VVIP. So this is before the agent queue already. Okay, so now from 6:30 to 7:30, right, we can see the number of units sold was another 50 units. It was about 26% sold at 7:30 p.m. So you can see the units started to move. 2+ study 63, 22, 22, 39, 24, 21, 6, 16, 5. So what was surprising to me, right, was actually the 5-bedroom. Like for the 5-bedroom, right, actually I was thinking, will it be actually sold out on the actual day? Because for most of the other launches, right, it is very uncommon for the 5-bedroom to be fully sold out. So for Emerald of Katong, obviously I think maybe there's a shortage of supply for the 5-bedrooms over there, or the quantum's really attractive, right? A lot of the 5-bedrooms were being snapped up even at the VVIP or booking day itself. So this is something that you have to take note. It means that there has very strong buyer interest for own stay in this particular area itself. Okay, so you can see now basically the movement. Some of them has been 3+ study, 3 flexi. Quite a few is the 3 bedrooms and also coming from 2 bedrooms and 2+ study. So these were majority of the movements from the units itself. Okay, then over here 8:30, we have about 31% sold already. So 31% sold, and then we have another 40 units sold after 1 hour. So you can see the movements. 2+ study 69, 26, 28, 48, 30, 23, 10, 19, and 5. So what was surprising to me, right, honestly, was the 4 bedrooms was moving pretty fast also. You see the 4 bedrooms, 3 units sold here, another 4 units sold here, and another 2 units sold. So usually for 4 bedrooms, if you go and look at Norwood Grand one, right, actually there's still quite a few units for the 4 bedrooms remaining, even though the quantum is relatively low for the current launches. So I think in the end, this one is a very strong indicator of the interest over here. Then of course we have 10 p.m. 40% sold, 346 units. So 2 bed plus study 89, 36, 40, 65, 32, 28, 13, 33, and 5. So you can see, right, gradually a lot of the units already started to move for the 4-bedroom premium 4 plus study not so much, but the smaller 4 plus study, right, there isn't much stock anymore, only got left 10 units, so that's why it moves slightly slower. Yeah. Then after that, the 3 bedroom flexi, only 2 units. 3 plus study, right, 3 plus study was quite fast. Okay, another about 20 units. Then the 3 bedrooms, 12 units. Two bedroom, right, another 10 units. And then 2 plus study was also another 15 units. So the 1 plus study, right, you can see actually the 1 plus study has been moving quite slow, and the fact that we have remaining units for the 1 plus study post launch, it shows a lot that people are not buying for investment per se, like in terms of rental, but really buying in terms of own stay. Okay, so over here we look at the end of the day of VVIP. So we have about 47% sold and 404 units. So I think this was quite close to my estimate in terms of how many percent sold. So you see, right, 404 units for VVIP, right, out of 592 checks. So this was quite a high conversion rate, and I can tell you some of them agents, they drop out is because either they maybe already bought Trump Park, or they didn't like what the developer was doing. Because remember, the developer actually did the agents only can buy 10th floor and above. So as a result, right, quite a few agents, they feel like they didn't get prioritized so they just either went for Nava Grove or Union Square instead of going for Emerald of Katong. So I think in the end, this is a win for the ballot queue people, and of course a win for my buyer as well, right? So 1 plus study, you can see the progression, 5 units, and then 95, 2 plus study, 49, 52, 78, 34, 33, 18, 35, and 5. So as of now, right, the 5 bedrooms was kind of expected, because at the start I think it was moving pretty fast. So I was thinking, will it be sold out or not? Then in the end, right, at the end of the VVIP day, only 5 bedroom units are bought. So I was thinking there will still be leftover units, but what was really surprising was at the end of the entire booking day, right, all the 5 bedrooms were sold out. Okay, so it's quite interesting, because usually I would expect the 2 to 3 bedrooms over here to have a strong performance, but what I didn't expect for EOK, right, was that they had a very, very strong performance for the 4 bedders. So this does show that they have the confidence in this pricing and this area itself. Okay, so right now, right, I'll be showing you guys what is the end result for post VVIP. All right. Okay, so you guys can see, right, I'll start with these 3 blocks first, block 51, 53, and 55. So those units highlighted in red color, it just means that it's sold already on the VVIP day itself. So you can see generally the heat map, they are in the like 16th floor onwards all the way to ground floor one. And then over here, block 53, quite a lot of the units has been sold, because relatively, if you go and check the transactions, block 53, the PSF is lower, so I think that's why it's more popular. Then last but not least, we have block 55, quite a bit of units being sold in between. Yeah, but generally there's still quite a number of units that is healthy in this particular range after like 592 checks. So this is the heat map for the next 3 blocks, block 57, 59, and 63. So I think these are all very important prep work, right, that I would have already gone through my buyers. So the day before the booking day itself, right, I was on a Zoom with my buyer with all this data ready, with the prices and how many units are sold and where are the particular stacks that are being sold out the most. So we have already all this prep work done beforehand. So I think it's quite important. I don't know if people actually feel this data is important, but for me, I usually like to analyze all this, like when the units are being sold, where's the heat map. So it's very important, and at least we know what is the price, right? Even if the developer were to increase the price the next day, you already know that how much are other people paying beforehand. So I think these are all very important information that I would at least do for my client Yeah. So you can see for block 57, right, the units are being sold in the middle range, you see. So the low floors are untouched, and the high floor also is untouched. Then for block 59, also in the middle range. Block 63, I think it was also on the lower PSF side, right? So a lot of the units was being sold, over here. So only left the low floor and the high floor units. Okay, so over here, we will be analyzing the developer's pricing strategy. So for this, is quite important because we will get to know what is the premium that the developer has put towards the pool facing and maybe the blocks closer to the nursing home, to the neighborhood park and facing outwards. So from here we will get a good sensing lah. Alright. So now I'll cover on the 2-bedroom first. Okay, so right now I'll be analyzing deep into the 2-bedroom units that are being sold on the 10th floor itself. Okay, so my data I also compile 10th floor one. So if you see other agents or other similar videos posting about 10th floor units, very likely the source came from me, okay? Because I really took a lot of time and effort to compile all this. So over here, I also on the left, on the right side, I also have the number of units sold for the VVIP day itself for each particular stack. So I have color coded those units of the same size to the same color. So it's easier for me to reference y'all and for y'all to follow me also. So now we will touch on the 624 unit first, 624 square feet, which is color coded in yellow. So you see, I want to bring your focus to these 4 stacks. So they are stack 27, stack 19, stack 4 and stack 38. So just from this simple exercise, we already can see that the developer don't really care pool facing is towards which block, which nearer to the park or the tennis court or this. It doesn't matter to the developer. Basically anything that's inward facing, you'll be commanding a PSF of 2767 PSF. Okay, and then for the outwards facing one, you'll be commanding a PSF of 2690. So do take note that all of these are sold on the same day and the developer didn't really increase price even post VVIP unless for some certain stacks, but majority of the units remain relatively the same. Okay, so what we can learn from this is the developer actually priced about 3 to 4% for the inwards facing versus the outwards facing for 10th floor units for this 624 square feet. Okay, so now we will start on the second one, which is the 678 square feet unit. So this is in purple color over here. So there's not much to decipher from this 678 square feet unit, but it is inward facing, and because it's slightly bigger, the PSF was in 2656 even though it was still pool facing. So I think ideally, if today you ask me, you have the option between the 624 square feet versus the 678, just based on PSF, and you can see the gap is about 80k because of the size of 50 square feet. So I think even if today you are paying slightly higher PSF for the inwards pool facing smaller unit, do take note that you are still paying about 70k cheaper than the 678 square feet unit. But of course, if based on PSF, I do think that this 2656 PSF is quite okay because you're buying almost 120, 110 PSF cheaper than the smaller unit. Okay, so now we look at the green color one, which is the 646 square feet. So the 646 square feet, actually the developer only priced stack number 8, slightly more expensive, which is 2736 PSF versus this 10th floor unit at stack 42, which is, I think why this block 63 is cheaper because of the nursing home over here. So I think developer was just trying to get the stock out faster, so they price it cheaper. So this is 2685 PSF, about 50 PSF difference from the stack 8. So this is 1.735 and this is 1.768. And then over here we have the other side. So of course, if you ask me, between stack 15 to stack 42, which one will be a better buy? Actually, this one really depends on individual, but I would say this facing for the nearer to the old folks home one, I mean the nursing home, is still better because it's already facing the Tembusu Grand and it won't be having as much uncertainty, as this other plot over here. Because this other plot, we wouldn't know what's coming up. But I think some people, maybe they are more superstitious, or they will say I still prefer facing maybe a future construction rather than beside a nursing home. So I think this one is up to individual, but for me, I'm just coming in from a resale market perspective, because today, if in the resale market, of course you can get objections from buyers that, hey, wow, this is nearer to the old folks home, nursing home, all this. But actually, for the other side, if you were to face a construction for 4 years, I don't think you're gonna be able to dispose the unit as fast. Okay, so I think other than that, if you ask me between stack 8 and stack 42, I would recommend you to actually go for the 30k top up to go for stack 8, because if today you are in the resale market And I already mentioned, people would talk about the nursing home or that, and you just up your budget 30k, I'm quite sure you'll still be able to fetch a slightly higher price in the resale market versus this block 63 or whatever stacks is over there. Yeah, so this is my own personal take in the resale market experience, because I've done quite a few units like let's say Foreign and Pukitima, all this. So remember guys, I've always said this, buying is always easy, but it is always about the exit strategy, exit in the resale market, especially if you are a investor today. Of course, if your own stay, you can tell me this is not that important, but I would say it's always good to have backup plans lah. It's like maybe today you feel like you'll be staying at Emerald of Katong for your whole life, but what if you have maybe sudden changes in your family nucleus, life plans, then you might want to shift out of Katong. So having this strategy, right, that you know that your unit will be easier to sell in the resale market, will help you with your future plans. So don't ever discount this just because of what you are thinking at the moment, because I have clients that always in the future change their plans halfway one, when they have kids or maybe their parents, they need to take care of them. So don't ever discount any future circumstances that might come. Always position yourself best in the exit strategy. Alright, okay, so now we look at the blue color one, which is the 689 square feet. So the 689 square feet, right, the cheapest stack, right, actually is this block 53 stack 12 lah. So this one is at 2580 PSF and 1.778 million. So this stack 12 you versus the most expensive stack, right, which is I would say stack 18 lah. So stack 18 we are looking at about 2677 PSF. So this is also about a 3-4% premium as compared to stack 12. So definitely I would say you have to look at the quantum itself already. So the quantum you see, right, is almost 100k gap for the same unit size. So today if you ask me, hey bro, if I want to buy for investment, I want to sell in the resale market, do you think paying this additional 70k 80k is it gonna be worth it? I would say from my experience in the resale market, right, always entry price is still your best bet, because if you enter at 2580 PSF today, very likely you're going to be entering close to what Tembusu Grand buyers are also paid for. And very likely, because if you're at 10th floor already, right, more or less your view is kind of okay, it's not too low. And at the same time, if in a big development, facing pool might not be an advantage, because facing pool, people might find it to be noisy, even though the developer price it a premium lah. So I would say just go with the lowest entry price is your safest bet if you want to exit in the future. This is just a very general rule of thumb. Of course, you can tell me, oh, what about if it's a low floor outwards facing versus a high floor inwards facing? So all these things are all the minute things that you have to make a decision on the booking day itself. And of course, I will be able to guide my clients more effectively with my frameworks and PSF, walkaway price, all this. So I think deciding between this stack 18 and stack 12, I will go for stack 12 because of the entry price. But if today I have a stack 5 and then a stack 39, right, actually then just go for stack 5 and stack 39. So why stack 5 and stack 39 over stack 18, right? Because actually you are paying almost a 15k difference, but I would say it's still inwards facing. And actually stack 39 even though it's closer towards the nursing home, right, you must always see where is the facing. So you see the facing, right, is towards the neighborhood park, right? So I would think actually facing the neighborhood park and you have a partially unblocked view here, it's going to be really very good. Yeah, compared to maybe 18 or 5, right, actually you are facing towards the other blocks directly, so the view is slightly more limited. But if today's stack 39, I think it's gonna be one of my top picks if you're talking about inward facing units. Okay, so right now we're left with the last one, which is the 700 square feet one, right? Actually out of all the stacks, actually the cheapest PSF is this 700 square feet 2578 PSF unit, and this is at 1.8 million. So you can see actually some of the units like let's say the 678 their pricing is so close. I would actually recommend you to just go for the 700 square feet one, because it's so much bigger and actually you're paying $4,000 difference, even though maybe the view not as fantastic as the pool facing one, right? But this is, you see, right, my point of view is always about making money, profits. Yeah, but if it's more for lifestyle element, all this, of course this one you have to make your own decision. But I'm only coming in from the perspective of which one I would say higher chance to make more profits. Okay, so over here, right, I made a small note. All the 10th floor units was sold on VVIP. So I think this one can come from a few factors, because for first thing is agent only can buy 9th floor and 8th floor above for certain stacks. So I think very likely most of the agents bought the 10th floor units. And of course, there's quite a few VVIP and bulk purchase that we don't know which unit they actually buy lah. Yeah, but from my own conclusion, I think most of the 10th floor units were actually bought by agents, because they only can buy certain floor and above ma. Okay, so now right, we analyze what are the stacks that are sold on the VVIP day itself. So you can see stack 4, 10 units sold. Yeah, because it's on the higher PSF side. So from this trend, right, we can actually see the inwards facing one sold slower because of the higher PSF lah, unless it's the small units. So you can see stack 5 we have stack 5 over here. So this one 16 units sold. Okay, so you can see it's because stack 5 the PSF is already slightly lower than the stack 4 one itself. Okay, so you can see right, stack 8 right, they only have 2 units sold out of 21. So now we take a look why. Okay, so you see for the 646 square feet one actually I really don't know why they put this stack 8 the PSF so high. It's almost pool facing PSF really. If you compare to this one, it's 2736. So my own conclusion is that because this one is facing towards the Tembusu Grand, that car park, that stack lah. So that's why once you clear certain floor, the view will be kind of unblocked. But to me I don't think it's that worth it because you see you are paying almost like this stack 42 1.735 is similar facing and it's a 30k gap. Then also this stack 15 over here, you can see over here the stack 15 right, also 2685 PSF 1.735. Yeah, so if you see based on stack 15, stack 42 versus stack 8 right, it's a no-brainer that actually people will still go for the cheaper stacks because they are still outward facing. And if today my client was choosing between these three right, I will still ask them to go for the cheaper ones, either stack 15 or stack 42. This stack 8 right, to me is not that value buy because of the high PSF. Okay, so now we'll be moving on to stack 9. Okay, so stack 9 right, stack 9 you see 14 units being sold. So stack 9 is over here. So 2656 PSF. You see, it makes sense ma? If you see today right, pool facing 2656 right, and then you still need to pay 2736 for a outward facing view I don't think it's that worth it anymore. So that's why stack 9 actually moved quite a lot on day 1. Okay, then stack 12, 14 out of 19. So this is also outward facing, so lower PSF lah. Okay, then stack 15. So stack 15 right, I think also stack 15 is because of the uncertainty with the future plot of land. So I think a lot of people was like a bit skeptical, don't know whether this was the what if the view is gonna be unblocked or this. Yeah, so generally not that popular, but I think in the end it still got fully sold out lah. Okay, then we have stack 18. So stack 18 pool facing, then stack 19 pool facing, stack 23 7 out of 21 pool facing. So you see all the pool facing units right, not a lot of 2 bedrooms being sold out for this one because I think very simple, people are more PSF sensitive for this 2 bedder. Okay, then stack 26 we have about 12 units sold. So you see it's about half, 11 for stack 27. So also outwards facing, low PSF. Stack 38 also got 15 units sold out of 21 units. Then I think why people bought stack 38, like I said, is because you see same PSF as the stack 4, but then you can see the partial park view lah. Okay, then stack 18, stack 39. So stack 39 was very popular. Okay, so stack 39 right, you can see it's also because as I mentioned it's the park facing view, and then we have 18 out of 21 units being sold, and this was similar PSF already. Okay, and then last but not least we have stack 42. So over here, so this is 2600 PSF. So I think PSF wise is quite attractive, but I think if people had other choice for other units, they will go for those first lah. Yeah, so overall this is for all the 2 bedroom units that is sold. Just nice is sold before the booking day lah. So that's all I can say. So now I'll be discussing on the biggest winner and okay lah, I don't say biggest loser lah because we don't know if they will actually still make money. But I would say maybe not the best buy. Okay, So this one is more for the pricing for Emerald of Katong 2-bedroom units. So if you guys actually watched my last video, right, I'm sure you guys remember that I touched on this. The first half here, these are the units for Tembusu Grand. Okay, so over here, I will already determine, right, the green color is the PSF sold for Tembusu Grand. So I've color coded over here and over here as green. And then for red color is the Tembusu Grand's highest PSF transacted. So I also have color coded here to be 28 and 28 over here. So this is just to frame your, in case you are watching this for the first time, okay? Okay, so now we dive deep into it. So over here, right, this was the price matrix that I've already prepared for my client. So you can see color coded, right, green color, we was looking at about 24 PSF for the lower range for Emerald of Katong lah, if you compare to Tembusu Grand, okay? And then over here, the cheapest 2-bedroom units, not the 2 plus study, 2-bedroom, right? Actually, the PSF was, I would say, considered a bit higher already, because the lowest PSF here, we're looking at 2556 PSF and it's a 624 square feet unit, 01-27 at 1.595 million. Okay, so why I put it yellow is because it was like in the medium range. It was like starting from is already this price, so I don't think it's a very good deal, but this is just my own reference lah. Okay, then over here we have 2104 that is sold. So 2104, right, I would say this is a bit concerning lah. Okay, but in the end, right, I don't know if this buyer will actually make money. For my own matrix, my recommended for my buyer was about 2.8k PSF range, maybe plus minus a little bit more. But if this buyer today, they bought at 2104, 2959 PSF at 624 square feet, right, and then the purchase price is 1.847 million. Let's see, right, what people paid at Tembusu Grand. So you can see Tembusu Grand, the maximum price they paid, right, was actually 1.807 million. Okay, and this is a 667 square feet. So maybe you compare based on size, maybe the 624 sizing is kind of similar to the 667 one, but today you are paying almost like 40k more leh. And for a 2-bedroom, not 2 plus study, I think it's quite a significant gap. Yeah, so I think whoever this buyer that bought 2104, I hope that you are buying is more for like maybe own stay purposes, not for investment per se. Because you see, if today you are buying in this PSF and you want to exit, right, actually even places like Mayor Blue, all this, they already transacted close to this range. So you want to exit in the resale market with this PSF, people actually might top up a little bit more and buy Mayor Blue already. If you see where I'm coming from, yeah. Okay, so right now we will look at the 2 plus study. So 2 plus study, right, Tembusu Grand, minimum price 1.787, and then PSF 2.4k, maximum price 2 million, max PSF 2.7k. So if you ask me objectively, right, I think definitely the initial buyer, okay, 0126, they got a very good deal, very good deal, because you see 700 square feet, 2460 PSF, and this is lower than my indicated range. So this is definitely a very good buy. And 1.722 mil. So you must understand that this is a harmonized project, so means you still need to add in the air collection. So it will be slightly bigger than the Tembusu Grand 743 square feet unit, and you are paying almost 60k cheaper than the minimum price at Tembusu Grand. So I think whoever that bought 0126, congrats to you, because for me, I think this is a very strong purchase, very good buy. On paper, right, even if you don't count the nearby developments, I mean, if you don't count within your own development, right, just compared to Tembusu Grand, you're already up about 60,000 at least. Yeah, so I think definitely a very good purchase. And then over here, we have the highest range. So this one is in the 28 range PSF. So I think 21-18, right, this buyer bought at 2851 PSF. This is the highest PSF for the 2 plus study. So this is a 689 square feet and 1.965 million. So was this a good buy or a bad buy? So when we look at what Tembusu Grand sold, right, the quantum is about 2 million range. I would say in terms of quantum, it's still relatively okay, because maybe the size is slightly smaller, but I think relatively PSF and quantum is still okay. It kind of matches. So definitely, I don't think you overpaid for anything lah. Yeah. So for the 2 bedrooms, right, my conclusion is, congrats to this very hot buyer 0126. definitely is the winner, the biggest winner of all the 2 bedroom sizes here lah. Okay, then of course if I compare to the so-called not the best buy, I would say is this 2104 unit, because it's about 22.9k PSF range really. Yeah, it's almost 3,000. So I think $3,000 per square feet can buy a lot of options. Yeah, and today if you want to find out a little bit more info on whether your own purchase might be a good buy or not, you can let me know. Drop me a WhatsApp and we can discuss more, because I have all the data already available. So it's going to be quite easy to do it on a first glance kind of situation. Okay, so on top of that, right, you see with all this data and like matrix in place, my buyer was already very prepared for Emerald of Katong launch itself. So if today you are still one of the 2,000 buyers that didn't manage to get a unit at Emerald of Katong or Chuan Park or any of the 6 launches, right, feel free to drop me a WhatsApp, because I'm also doing for Alta, which is at Clementi, Ori, which is at Toa Payoh, Braddell area, and the upcoming Parktown residences at Tampines as well. So if you find this will be useful for you for the balloting day or booking day itself, do drop me a WhatsApp if you want a second opinion, because I think these are all very good matrix, and you can see right from here I've already determined, you already know kind of what is my walkaway price for my client lah, unless they really buy it's not for investment but for own stay. Yeah, because I feel that there's always another opportunity, but if today you make a wrong decision, right, then of course you are stuck already, and you are stuck not just 1-2 years, it's a easily 3 to 4 years decision, and it will set you back, because if today you make the wrong choice, very likely 4 years time you'll be priced out of maybe a particular bedroom type if you look to re-enter the market again and your property doesn't make money. So I think these are all very important decisions that will impact you at least 5 years down the road. Okay, so now I'll cover the 3 bedrooms. Okay, you see my data is all the 10th floor one. Okay, so you see for 3 bedrooms type, right, just nice. Also 10th floor units also on VVIP. So same theory as just now. I suspect it's all the agents buy lah, okay, because they only can buy higher. But there could be some that's own stay also. VVIP or bulk purchase buyers, also possible. Okay, so right now we just go through my color by color. So we go through green color first. So green color, 904 square feet, right? You see, 904. So the cheapest stack, right, we are looking at either stack 16 or stack 41. So stack 16 and stack 41, we are looking at 2.325 million and then 2.325 million, exactly the same. So for the highest PSF for the 904 square feet one, we'll be looking at stack 10, which is 2.391 million. So this will equate about a 70k gap. Then you see in between here, we have about a 40k gap. Whereas if you compare this to this, is about a 30k gap lah. Yeah, so I think this one, if you look at the PSF and the price gap difference, right, I would say if possible, try not to go for the block 63 one. As I mentioned just now, it's closer to the nursing home side, so you might face some resistance in the resale market. But if today you're buying for own stay and you're totally okay with that, then by all means you can go for that. I would choose stack 16 over 41 simply because of the nursing home. If you ask me objectively, right, I think if you want to let go in the resale market, and you see okay, so this one just now, it might contradict a little bit with just now what I said, because stack 41, right, is really the stack that is right next to the nursing home. So there might be some differences maybe if you compare to maybe stack 42 or stack 39, because those are not directly beside. So if today you versus to stack 16, right, stack 16 versus stack 41, I will ask you to go for stack 16 because it's the same PSF. Yes, future might have construction, but it's not the stack that is directly beside the old folks home or the nursing home. So I think at least you go for stack 16, you will face less resistance in the resale market. Then of course, ideally, if you want to avoid the uncertainty from the construction and the nursing home, just go for stack 7. It's only a 40k gap, and I think you'll be able to exit in the resale market much easily as compared to the 14 and 16. Then of course stack 10 will be a top up a little bit more, but you'll be closing in on the 2.4 range already. Okay, so now we move on to the next size. We will touch on this red color one first because only got one. So this 883 square feet, stack 25. Okay, so same thing, because of future construction we don't know. So 883 square feet, 2575 PSF, and we are looking at 2.274 million. So I think this is a very attractive PSF entry. Definitely quite a safe buy if you ask me. And I think in terms of investment, if you are looking in the slightly medium term, I think it's still okay. as long as the construction opposite is over already. But if you are looking in the short term, maybe you might face some resistance, but of course, I'm sure if you put it at an attractive price enough in the resale market, you will still be able to find buyer one. Okay, so now we touch on the purple color one, which is 969 square feet. So you can see over here the developer's pricing strategy. 2.6k PSF for the inward facing one, stack 6, and then 2.5k PSF. So we are looking at a PSF premium of about 3-4%. So to be honest, if today you are looking for own stay all this, I think it's worth it to pay the extra premium because the developer didn't price it like very out of the reach. It does feel really quite reasonable because it's in the 3-4% range. Then over here, of course, if you're looking to flip, I think this PSF 2558, it provides a very safe entry price and PSF. Okay, so now we will touch on the yellow color one, which is 990 square feet. Okay, this one the stack 21 one, I calculate the PSF wrongly. It should be 2531 PSF so just bear in mind, okay? Then for the rest, you can see stack 2, 2604 PSF, stack 36, 2555 PSF, and stack 29, 2653 PSF. So I think if you ask me, right, objectively, which one makes more sense, I would say just go with the cheapest entry price. Actually, stack 21 really, it does make a lot of sense because you can see, right, you already buy the cheapest PSF about 120k difference from a pool facing unit. So if you ask me in the resale market, which one will very likely make more, I'm looking at this 990 that is stack 21 because you see the PSF difference, right, is also about 120 per square feet difference for a same floor unit. So I think this 100k gap will price out a few buyers in the resale market in the future. But that is something that maybe people still will pay a premium for it. I won't know lah. Okay. Then if you ask me which is the last choice, I'll say pool facing unit is the last choice. Sweet spot, right? To be honest, I think this stack 36 is like the sweet spot already. Yeah, if not, it's between these two. I think stack 2 and stack 36 is a strong contender because stack 21, yes, the PSF is cheap, right? But it still will face uncertainty in terms of future construction. But 36 and 2, to me, it just feels like Tembusu Grand is like already done. So I think it's still relatively okay. Okay, so now we'll move on to the blue color one. So another typo. I think when I was doing this, I was really very tired already. So don't mind the correction, okay? So over here, 1023, stack 20, 2624 PSF, inward facing. Outwards facing is stack 28, 2552 PSF. And then last but not least, we have stack 37, which is the most expensive one, 2649 PSF, inward facing at 2.71 million. So if you ask me between these three, right, which makes the most sense, I would say just go for stack 20. Because stack 20, right, is inward facing, but at the same time, you're not paying the highest PSF. But the price gap is quite significant actually. You can see, like say we compare stack 28, right, which is the outwards facing one, this one, versus this pool facing inwards one, right. It's about 100k gap like this, and the PSF is almost 100 PSF. So if you ask me between these two, if the budget, I'll still go for stack 20 lah. Yeah, stack 37, I just feel like it's really on the higher side. Yeah, then if you choose only between 28 and 37, right, go for 28. But this is for exit lah. Yeah, but if you really buy for own stay, I think whichever you feel is worth it for you. Okay, so now we analyze VVIP sold, right? How many units get sold for each particular stack? Okay, so you can see stack 2, 6 out of 21. So stack 2 is over here. Okay, then stack 6, 13 out of 19. So you can see the buyers here, actually they will still prefer inward facing. They're willing to pay their premium, even if the unit is smaller and it's higher PSF. Stack 7, you see, stack 7 moving slower also. 6 out of 19 units. Then stack 10, over here, inward facing, higher PSF, but people are still willing to pay. Maybe because the premium, we are looking at about 3-4% premium. Okay, so 11 is out of 19, right? Then you can see 11, right? Why 11 also start to move is because when you compare between 6 and 11, right? I think the moment when people start to get priced out of the 3 bedrooms at 2.5 million range, there was no choice, they will still go for stack 11 one. So I think in the resale market, this is gonna be the similar kind of flow. If people don't have budget for the bigger or better facing units, right, they will still go for the cheaper one. So I think as long as I think what you need to set for yourself is your entry price is always the most important one. So as long as you have a very clear strategy moving into this purchase, then I think you are safe. Okay, so now we have stack 16, 13 out of 21. So stack 16, right, you see 2571 PSF. So in terms of PSF entry, is still a very attractive entry price also. Then stack 20, 13 out of 21. So stack 20, even pool facing 2624 PSF, still moving pretty well. Okay, then stack 21, facing outwards, cheapest PSF. Okay, so this one also moved 19 units out of 21. Stack 25 over here. So this is the 883 unit, 883 square feet unit, and then about 13 units sold lah. Stack 28, we have 11 out of 21. So stack 28 over here, I think because the quantum was on the higher side already, so 2.611 million, right? I think people, if they have a choice, they will still go for the cheaper 3-bedroom types. Okay, stack 29, 15 out of 21. So stack 29 over here, pool facing unit. You can see, right, some of the units they are moving is because of quantum also. So this one, I'm quite sure people decided between these two, whether I should go for stack 28 facing outwards, or I should go for 990 square feet pool facing unit. So this one, in the end, they still paid almost 10k higher than the bigger unit. Then stack 36, we have 9 out of 19. So stack 36 over here. And then stack 37, we are looking at this one, pool facing unit. So this one, even though it's the highest PSF, right, it still achieved a very strong performance of 13 out of 19. I think partially is because I would say is maybe you can get a partial park view, and also is one of the better views in the block lah. Then stack 41, 7 out of 41. So this one very obvious is because it's the proximity of the nursing home lah. So that's it. Okay, so now same thing, analyzing the 3-bedroom types for Emerald of Katong. Remember, okay, this one is just for the sake of post-launch analysis. It's not really to scare you all one. Okay, so if today you bought outside of the range that I previously recommended with my client, then I think that is up to your own decision, because in the end, we will never know what is going to happen in the resale market 4 to 5 years down the road. But all that matters today is how much we are buying in. Okay, so if you follow my previous video, the top half is the entry price that Tembusu Grand actually sold and people actually buy lah. So green color, right, minimum PSF. So I already demarcated here, green color 2.4 for each bedroom type. Okay, then the 3+ study, right, green color, same thing, I also put down already. Then red color will be over here, 2.7. Okay, so do take note that these units that I mentioned over here at Tembusu Grand still got what remaining, right? That was in the previous video. So I think very likely the moment people didn't get a good ballot queue number for Emerald of Katong, they already bounced on this. So I need to double check if there is still units remaining at Tembusu Grand. And today, if you ask me, is this PSF attractive? If still have in the 2-3 range, I think this is a very, very attractive buy, because first thing is you are buying similar to what a project that is selling today in today's market 2024 compared to last year, and Tembusu Grand, right, targeted is also much earlier TOP. So if today you buy into this attractive PSF, you don't need to rent and you can get your keys earlier. I mean, you don't have to rent as long as Emerald of Katong. Yeah. Okay, let's go deep to the numbers. Okay, so right now we look at the smaller 3-bedroom type. So Tembusu Grand one, right, is a 990 square feet, and look at the minimum entry price, 2.288 million, and the maximum of 2.552 million. So if we see over here, right, for the 3 bedrooms, not the 3+ study, right, the winner goes to 01-41 because they got in at a PSF of 2428. To me, right, this is really very attractive PSF, okay, and 904 square feet at 2.195 million. So this is almost like about 80k cheaper than what the smallest 3-bedroom type at Tembusu Grand. I think this is a very attractive and good entry price. Okay. Then the next thing is, now we look at so-called the not so good entry price. Okay. 2107, 904 square feet, 2778 PSF. So I think this is still within what I demarcated for my client. So this is still relatively okay in terms of PSF. You're not overpaying your counterpart, right, at Tembusu Grand. And you can see actually their max price is 2.552 million. Then yours is only 2.512. So you still have some buffer lah, I would say. So relatively don't have to worry too much even if you are buying at least 2107. Then what we have next is the 3 plus study. So the 3 plus study, right? So you can see over here at Tembusu Grand, right, 1173 square feet. And then minimum price of 2.7 million. Maximum price of 2.976 million. Then 3 plus study here, right, you see for this winner 01-11, right, 969 square feet, 2423 PSF, and you're coming in a quantum of 2.348 million, right? Congrats to you. Because to me, right, this is a very, very good entry. Because you can see, right, we are looking at almost a 350k gap from the minimum 3 plus study at Tembusu Grand lah. So if you ask me, I think this is definitely one of the biggest winners for these 3 bidders. You're definitely gonna make quite a lot in the resale market, because if today the buyer, they want to look for a 3 plus study layout and then they have the budget, they don't have the budget but they don't really want to settle for a 3-bedroom type unit, right? Then you compare to Tembusu Grand and what we have at Emerald of Katong, there is no one else that can offer this kind of attractive entry level for a 3 plus study unit. Okay, so I think congrats to 01-11 buyer. And then now we have 21-29. So this one they buy at 2797 PSF, 990 square feet, 2.77 million. So I think based on PSF demarcated, this one is already slightly on the higher side. So of course, if possible, try not to go for this maximum range lah. But I know, of course, in the end, everything was sold out. So was this actually a good buy? Okay, so now we take a look at what is the 3 plus study here. So you can see, right, if we just look at the max price for Tembusu Grand for 3 plus study, right, actually we are still looking at a decent buffer of about 200k gap. So I think whoever that bought at 21-29 is still a good buy, because in the end, for a similar layout type at Tembusu Grand, of course Tembusu Grand is slightly bigger lah, but if you look at the functionality of the unit, even though you're paying about 200, you're paying maybe on paper looks like PSF is higher, right? But actually quantum wise you are 200k cheaper. So if you ask me which one easier to exit in the resale market, definitely 21-29 compared to what the Tembusu Grand buyer bought. Alright, so this is my own thoughts. Of course, you can leave in the comment section below if you have a different thought for me, because for me, this is my own point of view. I also want to know from my viewers, right, what do you guys feel or think of my analysis for this maybe particular gaps and who paid a good price for it, who didn't pay such a good price for it. Okay, so now we look at the 4-bedroom types. This one is for the Emerald of Katong one, okay? So same thing over here, VVIP, right? All the 10th floor units sold on VVIP, okay? So I think really there's agents that is buying for own stay also lah. The fact that 4 bedrooms are also sold for the 10th floor. So now we look at the yellow color one first. 1270 square feet. So this one is 2557 inwards pool facing, 3.248 million. This one quite straightforward lah. Alright, then now we look at the blue color one, which is the 1152. So 1152 one, right, if you ask me, definitely go for this outwards facing one. This is a very, very attractive entry price for stack 13, 2487 PSF. I think this is really one of the lowest PSF in the whole development really. And at the same time, the quantum is below 3 million for 4-bedder. Okay, and yeah, definitely much more attractive entry price. And you see why I recommend stack 13 over stack 14, right? Because you see the gap, the PSF premium here, we are looking at about maybe in the 5% range already. So it's on slightly higher than normal, because you see just now I compare you, most of them was in the 3 to 4% range. This one was about in the 4 plus to 5% range. So this is slightly higher. If possible, go for stack 13, but if stack 13 sold out already, then you have to go for stack 14, no choice. I mean, we look at the green color one, 1259 square feet. So we have 17, which is 2558 PSF, 24, 2534 PSF, and then 40, we have 2581 PSF. So if you ask me, right, between these three, which one would I recommend you to go for? Let's go for 24 lah. Because if you ask me, 24 really makes a lot of sense, because 24 is inwards facing and then is 2534 PSF and is looking at a quantum of 3.191 million. definitely better than stack 17 because to me 17 and 24 no difference one, really not much difference. And then now we have stack 40, right? Why stack 40? I would still say try to avoid because it's the nursing home over here. Yeah, but I think to some people stack 40, right? Because here actually there's no window one. You cannot see the nursing home. It's more of if you are superstitious, okay? But you have the full park there. You have the full park view. So that one is very, very, I think it's a very premium view. So that's why the developer actually priced stack 40 higher than the other two. It will make sense because if you see the park, then it's a really unblocked view relatively already. Because if you look at the entire Katong, this Tembusu area, right? A lot of them are high rise, so there's not much buffer between each building one. Okay, so right now we look at the red color one, which is the 2572 PSF stack 34 1302 square feet, and we are looking at a 3.35 million quantum. So this one is already the premium block. You only have 4 units per floor, okay? And now we look at stack 31 2501 PSF 1313 square feet, 3.284 million. So if you were to ask me which particular facing I would choose, right? Actually, I think it would make sense to go for stack 31 because stack 34, right? Unfortunately, it is facing towards the nursing home. If it's me facing the pool, it makes sense. But facing nursing home, not very ideal for me lah. Personal choice because there's not much difference really. So I will still go for stack 31, not because it's a lower PSF. I mean, of course, that's a plus but for me is, I think for buyers for 4 bedroom, right? Stack 33 also. So same thing for stack 34 and 33. I think you'll be at a slight disadvantage because you'll be facing towards the nursing home. But I think in the end, it's fully sold out, so it's still a good buy because if you don't buy today, then actually there's nothing else to buy already. Yeah, and if you go and see Tembusu Grand's 3 and 4 bedrooms, right, the quantum is a lot higher. So if you want a piece of Tembusu area and your budget is a constraint, I mean, no choice you have to still go for it one. Okay, so now we look at the VVIP, how many stack and how many of the units sold. So now we look at stack 3, 9 out of 21. So it's quite impressive 9 out of 21. Stack 13, yeah, you see, as I mentioned, stack 13 also sold very strong. Stack 20, stack 14, 20 out of 21. Also, so you see, right, today, if you're not VVIP or agent, right, then you go into the ballot queue. Actually, for the smaller 4 bedroom, don't really have a chance anymore. Not much already. Okay, stack 17, 4 out of 21. So you see, for here, you can see a very clear is people are buying based on quantum already. Okay, quantum. So these two is very clear is quantum play. 31. So stack 31 over here. Yeah. So this one is 8 out of 18 units sold. Stack 34, 10 out of 18 units sold. So it's over here. And then stack 40 stack 40 is 13 out of 21. Okay, so right now same thing again versus Tembusu Grand's 4 bedroom. Now we look at the Emerald of Katong's biggest winner and maybe not so big winners lah. Okay, so Tembusu Grand's 1432 square feet. So do bear in mind that their 4 bedrooms are pretty big for Tembusu Grand. 3.33 million, minimum PSF 2.3. So same thing, green color, I've demarcated over here to account for the harmonization. Okay, then of course for the maximum 2.5 and I adjusted up lah. So this is 2.7 range. Okay, so now let us look at the biggest winner. So biggest winner, congrats to this buyer looking at 01-13 that bought this 1152 square feet unit. So this unit, right, we are looking at quantum of 2.764 million. So this is really very attractive entry price if you ask me. And this is right, you see the gap between this 2326 versus this post harmonization PSF. The PSF is really very attractive. So it's very close. And at the same time, look at the quantum. We'll be looking at a quantum of about 600k gap. So really congrats to this 01-13 buyer. Definitely will be extremely hot in the resale market, confirm. Okay, then now we look at the higher one. So the highest PSF paid was actually coming from this 21-40 unit, and we are looking at PSF of 2705 PSF, 1259 square feet, and then we are looking at a quantum of 3.406 million. So was this actually a good buy? So over here we can see, right, actually the 4 bedder at Tembusu Grand is 3.583 million. So if we compare like this, right, actually it's quite decent still. We're looking at about 180k gap. So if you ask me, in the resale market, I would say, right, actually this 1259 square feet should be easier to sell, because we are looking at almost 180k gap difference. Of course, the PSF, I think, is on a slightly higher side, but in terms of quantum, to me, it's still a very attractive quantum play. So also congrats to this 21-40 buyer, the fact that you still dare to buy the unit, even though the PSF was slightly higher. Because for me, I think I would still recommended my client to actually go for it, because it was still within the threshold that I actually set out for. If it's in the 2.8 range already, or maybe in the high 2.7, maybe you need to think twice really. But for here, I think still relatively okay. So I think all in all, right, the summary is actually really, if my client's ballot number not that good for Emerald of Katong, right, and then certain units, like let's say we look at the 2-bedroom, like for example this one, in the 2959 PSF range, if my ballot number not good, then my client only left really this unit, right? If I touch my heart, I'll ask my client to walk away, because this is the exact same thing that happened for Trump Park. Because right when they are at your turn, right, for her, there were some units PSF was okay, but because the quantum was too stretched for her. So then now we look at this particular case, right, if the quantum is okay, the 1.847 mil was okay, but the PSF is on the higher side, right, I would say if today my client is not buying for own stay, they shouldn't go for it. Because investment, you must really think about it. 2.9k PSF, right? In the resale market, how much must you sell to make like maybe 200k, 300k? If you compare to your counterpart, right, that bought this 624 square feet unit, right, at 1.595 million, and you're looking at almost a gap of 250k. And this is a same exact size unit, 250k difference. To me, they sell at 1.8, right? You still need to sell at 2 million over, or maybe 2.1 million. So I think, like I always preach, buying is easy, selling is difficult. So if my client really in this situation, I would have told them to walk away, honestly speaking. Yeah, because to me, it doesn't make sense anymore, and there's always a next opportunity. I always tell my client there is always a next opportunity. So I hope all of you don't regret your buying purchase, especially this buyer 21-04. In the end, we don't know how the market will turn out, but to me, I'm just going by which is the highest probability to make a certain amount of profits. Where else, if you like this area and you don't care about all this, then by all means, you can go ahead to make your purchase. Alright, so I hope you guys have benefited from this sharing that I just did, because I took a lot of time and effort to compile all this data and also analyze it. So I really hope you guys can give me your support and just leave me a like and subscribe, and maybe help me comment if you found this information actually valuable. And by you liking and subscribe my video, right, you can also help to disseminate this information out to those that actually might need it also. Because I have a few clients that reach out to me recently from my YouTube videos, and they only reach out to me after the launches is over, because they realize they might have regretted the decision, or some of them actually, they said that they watched my video to do the unit selection, like for the 3 bedrooms. Unfortunately, because the agents never do for them. So of course, I hope that I'm able to benefit more people like you guys. And if you guys have any questions that you want to reach out to me directly, feel free to WhatsApp me, right? Alright, so in the end, I just share with you what happened with my buyer. So basically, my buyer queue number, this one was from Trump Park one. So you remember I told my client to walk away from Trump Park, right? Because the queue number was 1,000 plus, and then we didn't get the ideal PSF, or we didn't get the ideal quantum. So right now, very lucky, my buyer got a queue number of 262. So 262 over here. And then, of course, my buyer leave me this Google review. So I mean, I hope that just from my buyer sharing, right, you will also be able to benefit from my sharing as well. Okay, I can tell you guys, if you already managed to benefit a lot from my just maybe 1 hour video or 40-minute video, right, can you imagine what I can do for you if we have a one-to-one consultation? So I'm really very sure that you'll be able to make a very safe and stress-free purchase if you decide to have a second opinion with me. Alright, so these are my Google review from this one. Not I asked her to like type it this way one. This one is really her own honest opinion, okay? So I hope that I'm also maybe able to benefit more people through my journey as well. Alright, so now we have come to the end of the video. So I think right now I'm just gonna share a little bit more about what's coming up, which is the Ori Park Tong residences, and then the Alta at Clementi there. So don't miss out on these future mega launches as well. Well, I know because there's 2,000 disappointed buyers that didn't get at Chong Park and EOK. So don't worry, there's always something coming up. But what matters is if you make the wrong decision or you bought something wrong today, then you won't be able to capitalize on what's coming up. So don't miss out on these particular launches because I've already been doing sharing with my clients on the analysis for Ori, Alta, and Park Tong residences. So if you really like my analysis so far in my whole video and you want one for yourself before the public gets it in the video here, right? Do let me know because for me, I'm going to be involved in all these launches also. So I'll be looking forward to working with all of you. And yeah, thanks for staying to the end of the video. If you found my video good and all that, please leave me a like and subscribe. Okay, that's it for today. Bye.